And we're live. Welcome, everybody. There's a bunch of you in YouTube and one of you in Facebook, so say what's up if we're there.
That's like our average ratio.
Yep. Hey, Paul, thanks for being a lone viewer on Facebook. The chat's pretty lit, though, on YouTube here.
Everyone's real excited about the old honey badger, and we are too. That's why we're here. Yep. Al is probably working on it right now, but he'll be here in a second.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
I don't know what he's doing.
But, yeah, today I figure we recap last weekend. We were out at the track, and then move into the main topic this weekend, going back out to a much longer track.
Yep. Literally twice the distance.
Oh, hey, there we go. We got Max, we got David, we got Jeff. There's Jeff. And Tim. Oh, 2.0 Camaro gang. All right.
We were worried about you, Jeff. We didn't see your message before the stream started.
Jason, you going to come out to the half mile this weekend? It'd be cool to see you. I'm trying to convince Mike and Adam to, but Mike's always a weenie, so that's not going to happen.
So right into it. What did we have out last weekend? I was driving. I know that.
You were driving.
Good fleet. Tesla.
Mm-hmm. Model 3.
Ion. Buick. Grand Prix GXP.
And there was 2 other Cobalts there that I never got to meet.
2 other Cobalts there, yeah.
Oh, and an Ion?
And, oh, yeah, we
Another
had
Ion.
Ryan's Ion out there, too. We had, and nobody broke. Nobody broke.
Whoo! Baby,
Man.
that's a good...
Yeah, especially, I hot lapped the Buick about 12 times, and back to that thing.
It's funny, too, because Thursday you were like, yeah, I think I'm just going to run it twice, and if it runs a good time, then I'll, like, put it back on the trailer and call it a day. And then you came back Monday, and you're like, yeah, I'm hot lapping the hell out of it. It ran real good.
Yeah, I think I counted 12 time slips, and I didn't keep a couple because, you know, if it spun and I just let out a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, Buick did really good. Not as good as Al, but for the first time down the track, since the turbo swap, I was very pleased with it. Great power band, good torque.
What did it run?
We ran 12.4 at 110.
Every time you say Buick did real good, I have like flashbacks to like 7 occurrences previously where you said the same exact thing.
Well, that's all it does. It does real good.
It's the most reliable car that we have around here. Freaking 3800s with 4 T65s.
Stock one, too.
It's done everything now, right?
Yeah.
Every event
I've
is
officially...
pretty much done.
You haven't been to a real road course yet.
Yeah, you're right. But
the entry level of everything.
We've won some car shows, we've run some turn stuff, and done the drag strip. So I mean,
Eric,
I'm
turn.
happy.
Turn. It's a technical term now.
We're gonna compile a video at the end of the year of all of us saying turn through all the videos because it's got to be hundreds by now.
Yeah.
It pops up.
It's all right. It's good.
It may not seem like much on the social media, but if you're around like the office, it's said at least 10 times a day. I would
Yeah, a
guess.
lot, quite often. So Buick ran real good.
Buick ran real good.
What about GXP?
GXP ran real good, and shout out to my girlfriend Sarah, first time running down the 1320, and she did real good. Yeah, very proud of her for doing that. She ran a couple of low 14s. If you have an LS4, comment your quarter mile time below because this just supports the fact that it's underrated because that thing is cammed full bolt-ons, E85, and it
ran a 14.
Well, we went there for a 13-second pass, and she ran a couple of low 14s, and I was like, all right, let Daddy show you how it's done, and did a 13.9 at 99. And I'm
13.9 at 99. Where are you at?
Yeah, actually, we don't know what happened to Al. We're getting a little worried about him, but not
Okay, sounds good. We'll see you.
Is he in the office?
not super worried, I guess.
Is he in the office?
Not sure. He said
Yeah,
he
he
had to help
must
Zoom.
Must have set his pager down somewhere. I don't know.
His pager.
But yeah, Tesla did to be expected.
Yep.
11 sixes back to back, like 10 times in a row.
Yep.
Yeah.
And hey, Dad.
The 60-foot seemed a little weak.
Yep.
Surprising. Yeah.
The car has so much more in it. I was talking to Zoom about it, and it just limits you because it doesn't want to slip. It does everything it can to not slip or chirp or anything.
Yeah, but when you gun that thing, it feels like a 1.2 60-foot riding in it. And then it just 1.860s all day.
Like, if we could do
Which is like
the rolling starts, that thing would be a killer.
Yeah, start from like 20.
Just from a dead stop, it just does not like it.
So, I was looking into things on the Model 3, and Unplugged Performance, I think it is, they make what they call a party box.
Oh.
I need one of those. I don't even
And
know what it does.
Yeah,
it
that-
does what you think it does.
You really don't need to go on anymore.
Yeah, it brings the party.
Sold.
So I think we need to look into that, or make our own. We'll see.
Yep, that's why we did it. So we knew what was the next step.
But-
so
Who the heck am I? Never mind. Oh, dang it. Sorry, Al.
Yeah, party box. That would be good. Like we haven't even lightened it up yet. I mean, that was our baseline run. Just
Yep.
wanted to see what it would do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Again, all stock tires.
Yeah.
80% battery or so, like
Yeah.
not maxed. But
And when we got back, Zoom gave us a little insight that, contrary to typical combustion engines, electric cars like to be hotter.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, the battery percentage matters less than the actual heat. So you get the batteries heated.
There he is.
Yeah.
There's a man.
Luckily, when Trevor was running it, it was hot out.
yeah, it
He
was
didn't run
hot.
it,
yeah.
And I tried a few times putting it in non-track mode. And track mode runs the fans 100% of the time to cool down after whatever.
Ah.
So I tried it without it, but
Cool the
it
blower
It
made
was the same thing.
no difference. So I
Uh,
pressed a lot of buttons and they did nothing. So that
well,
was the
there are
moral.
lots of buttons. Well, actually, there's no buttons. It's
Can
all
you,
just touchscreen.
Turn
It's
my
weird.
overall headphones down a little.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great car. We were talking today. The only thing it's Keith put a good word on it. It's soulless.
Yeah, it's
Um,
pretty soulless.
It does everything great, but it's just
How's
Go
everyone
figure,
sound to
the
you guys
electric car feels robotic.
in the chat there?
Weird.
Who would have thought?
Let us know if everyone's good volume. Nobody's too loud, too quiet.
M90 LSJ.
No.
Nope.
Shut up, Max.
I'd like to see some photos, but
speaking
big blowers on LSJs typically don't do much.
Speaking
No,
of LSJs, guess
Typically.
what? Guess what? Ion doesn't have a second gear.
Oh no!
What? What do you do?
Oh no! No
Yeah.
second.
Just a grindy second.
Oh,
That's how it starts.
yep. That is how it
Oh,
starts.
yeah.
It'll grind.
Wasn't that a new trans?
No,
Yeah.
it was used.
Oh.
100,000 mile F35 with an LSD, and those entry level kits kill those F35s real good.
We just got done, Al, talking about everything we were doing, all the Grand Prix, all the W bodies, all the
Yeah.
Teslas. So, how was your last weekend? Shakedown. there.
I
So yeah, it
was
went
okay.
all right. As most of you all have seen by now, the Honey Badger ran a 10.97.
10-9.
Did not expect that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because there was a few people that, like just from being in this community that we know, they're like kind of higher level racers that they understood that they couldn't say what they wanted to say on the post because people who don't understand drag racing would take it wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
So like I was talking to Walker the other night, who I hope you're watching, Walker Texas Ranger Morgan, and he's like, "That wasn't even a really good pass." I was like, "Thank you, I know." Like it.
I mean, it wasn't bad.
Obviously, it was quick. I mean, it ran at 10, but the launch, the 60-foot, wasn't what I know that car's capable of.
Yeah.
Like,
not at
I
all.
know I can drop at least a full tenth and a half.
Yep.
With just driving it better burnout.
Obviously, later down the road, a traction bar will help big time.
Oh,
we know that.
yeah, I'll throw that on there eventually just to see what the difference is with that car.
Yep.
LSD.
The LSD maybe, but I really didn't have an issue with the open diff at all.
Yeah,
it
it looked good.
it pulled exactly straight.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think I had mentioned to you, kind of a general rule of thumb is most slicks are going to achieve max G-force
At
acceleration
20%.
or max traction at around 20% slip. So if you do have one tire start to pull loose, it's actually going to grip harder.
Yeah.
And with slicks, you can balance an open diff out a lot easier than with like a street tire.
Yeah. Even Matt's drag card never had an LSD. Obviously, they didn't make one, but
Yeah.
he said, as long as you get the burnout good and both tires moving, you're fine.
Yeah. So yeah, the 60-foot was okay, nothing insane. The 1-2 shift was terrible, and
Worse than mine.
worse than the ones that you've completed.
Very few and far between.
You didn't do your second reverse yet, did you?
No,
Haven't figured out the race gear.
I'm not doing the rocket gear. But yeah, after the 1-2 shift, like the real money of the pass was second gear.
Yeah.
because Matt pointed that out later looking at the time slip versus the 10.99 that he ran in the LNF way back in the day. He had more mile an hour at the end of the track.
And less
he
60
ran
foot.
a quicker 60 foot than me.
So you middle tracked the
But
hell out
I
of it.
that was where the car ran the best, was second gear.
Yeah.
I mid-tracked the hell out of that thing.
Which is not something
Which is
that you hear.
It doesn't. It just happened that way because like
Hey, Luke.
the launch was
Yeah.
okay, but not great. And then
It was,
we
it was a
found out.
bell-shaped curve. It was a bell-shaped.
Yeah, it was a bell curve.
Bell curve, all right.
But then looking back at the data logs later, I was actually having a crank signal issue at high RPM that was acting the same as if I was on the rev limiter.
Mm-hmm.
And the crank signal would get erratic and cause the RPM to falsely jump high and low. So it would trigger the shift light and sound like it was on a rev limiter.
So you're like, "Wah!"
So, like, from the driver's seat, it's just because the whole screen turns yellow and says shift. Like, don't blow me up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that you can't miss it. But when you see shift come on the screen and you hear rev limiter,
You shift.
everything must be working right. And it wasn't until that because when Matt pointed out the mile an hour being a little lower than his, it dawned on me that I had done the math on the gear ratio, tire size, and where my limiter's at, and the car should do 135 on the limiter in third.
Ah, yeah.
And then I remembered that 10.9, it felt like it was on the limiter like the last several car lengths before the trap. So that's when I pulled the data log back up, zoomed way in,
That
and once I
explains
zoomed way in at the high RPM section, then I could see where it was starting to lose crank signal. So we went over some of the wiring things, changed a couple things. The fuel tech help support, or their customer support, is really good. And luckily I have a lot of other resources in the community that kind of helped me trace some things down.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, this was a 1 week before half-mile event.
Yeah.
So it was shakedown and like 5 evenings worth of work
Yeah.
with what you find.
Yeah,
So
and
what's been the scramble this week? What all had to be changed other than like you
so
just
yeah,
mentioned?
the 10.9 was the third pass ever in that car on slicks. So we came out on gate pressure, 14.5 pounds, ran a 12.3. Yeah, 12.3.
Yep.
Turned it up a little bit, went 11.2,
Yep.
which I thought Bo was joking when I pulled back in. Like it felt faster because I gave it more boost, but I didn't think it was that quick.
Yeah, a whole second faster.
Because the coolant temps got a little warm on that run. So when I got the slip, I didn't even look at it. I grabbed it and threw it on the floor and then went straight back to the pits.
Yep.
And I pull in, and Bo's up there, like, cheering, woo,
Faster than the Sonic!
And I'm like, what? Like, I think I just stared at you for a second, and you're like, yeah. You did. I'm like,
And he goes,
this,
we're turning it up.
we're turning this could actually run a 10 tonight. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what I can do with the rest of the season. And
Yeah.
the car actually puts a really good pass together. But like Trevor mentioned, that was just another shakedown run for the real main event, which is coming up this weekend.
We're not Bo, but Al, myself, Tyler are leaving right after this podcast.
Yep.
So
Yes, this is
5
like the
o'clock.
first podcast ever that at 5 o'clock we are done. 'Cause we
we're
gotta get
driving
outta
to
here.
Indiana. Yep.
That's why I only have 2 beers.
I'm not driving, so I have 3. So
Actually, I'm not even going to open the second one. I'm
there
going
you
to be
go.
responsible.
There you go. Good job.
Tyler and I will handle that.
Yeah. But yeah, the half-mile event, shift sector, airstrip attack, Marion, Indiana. It's a real popular half-mile. People come from all over the country.
Real cool event.
My buddies from English Racing loaded up their semis last week and shipped out.
Oh, they're semis.
Their
Just
semis.
Wouldn't,
Just
wouldn't
saying
that be
that.
nice? One day do we say, oh yeah, put the Honey Badger in the semi, go start
Well,
driving
like,
across
and
the country.
Lucas English, the owner, is the one that drives their semi.
Really?
Like, he likes it.
He just gets in it and
It's
he's
just-
like, here we go.
It's his thing.
yeah.
Load them up. See you guys in a week and a half. And so yeah, everyone else flew out this morning, and they'll be there at the Airbnb to meet us tonight.
Sweet.
I will say one cool thing about the half mile and this one specifically is with like where the world is going and how racing is dying, unless it's like uber marketed, like Grid Life, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like Indy Airstrip does a really good job
Yeah.
of like putting people and
Yeah,
money into
it's-
marketing. Like
it's sold out.
it's a really cool
so
show.
fast.
Yeah.
And we got media passes, which is even better because we can stand down at the start line
Yep.
and actually watch the whole thing.
Yeah. And
So
we get
that's going to be
cool
I
vests.
love the layout of the Indiana one too.
Yeah.
Because the spectators can be in the pit.
Yeah.
And so as long as people aren't getting in the way, I like that layout because it allows you to interact with people a lot more.
And people can walk around and look at these things and like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah, the Ion already got some pretty good traction on the
Yeah,
roster
I was
list.
impressed.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't see, I think
From being in the market that we are, we forget that Ions are not a normal race car.
no, not at all.
Like it's just it's my project, so I don't think of it any different.
And
but-
what are you talking about? The Ion is one of the 5 race cars that exists, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But Shift Sector posted up a screenshot of, I think, 10 cars that are in what they're calling an ethanol class. And Al, Saturn Ion, 600 horsepower, is down there, although it might make a little more now.
Maybe.
Is on there. And everyone in the comments was like, a Saturn Ion?
Wait, what?
What? And they had it listed at 600, I think. And
Yeah.
they're like, what?
Yeah.
600 horse Ion? So, yeah, it'll be cool.
Yeah, we forget that that's not
Yeah.
normal. And it's
Well,
just-
it's
it was
not
funny.
normal, but, you know.
It's like when we
Yeah.
went to the spectator drags and the guy in the Grand Am, he's like, man, I seen Buick Regal. I thought I was going to have a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not typically what you'd make a race car out of.
That's what makes them fun.
But that was another thing that I was talking to some of my my other gearhead friends about in the past couple of weeks. Is like I didn't pick an Ion Redline because I wanted to be the fastest thing on earth.
Yeah.
Like I originally bought the car because I just wanted a fun daily, and then I had to tune it, and tuning was too expensive, so I bought the stuff and tuned it myself, and then helped some friends, and then made some good power on a couple cars, and like just this weird chain of events that has led to me being in this chair right now.
Yeah.
All because I bought a freaking Ion.
Saturn. Yeah.
Like, who would have ever guessed that?
It is cool. Like, now, obviously, your story's a lot different because you had your own business and, we're doing that. But I got a Chevy Cobalt, and I was like, okay, this is kind of a cool car.
Mhm.
It's a 2-door, it's black, it's sporty looking. And I bought some parts, and then here I am.
Yeah.
Same
Yep.
deal.
Yeah.
I'm very excited
We all have
for
very
this, so-
similar stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were with Joel
Yep.
coming down here buying parts, and then
I got beat by a
Freaking
Cobalt. That's
Manscaped.
why I ended up here.
Yeah. And then one day, Kyla was like, oh, this Trevor kid applied. How's he looking? I was like, oh, yeah, Trevor Plagg. I've seen his renders and stuff. That dude's
I was
cool.
designing wide body kits for Cobalt.
Yep. And then Bo, of course, has been a customer
Yeah.
just as
Yep.
long as all of us, even though he's so young. He's such a baby.
Yep. Figured out I'm the youngest here.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, but
We found out Curtis is younger.
Oh.
Oh,
Yep,
Curtis.
just
to,
a
to
skosh.
finish up the thought process that I had started on and completely lost.
Anyway, sorry.
I didn't pick the Ion. I didn't decide to turn the Ion into what it is because it was going to be anything insane.
Mm-hmm.
I did it because it's my car.
Yeah.
It's what people know me
Yeah,
for.
I
and it's
actually
what
don't
I
know
like.
this story. Why did you buy an Ion?
Um,
If it wasn't like specifically a mod car.
I was looking for a new daily driver, and my cousin had a bone stock '04 Redline, and he
So it
took
was
me
just
for a
available.
ride. He took me for a ride, and I was like, "Huh, that'd be a fun daily driver." I had an SC2 at the time,
SC2s.
and
That was the
so-
race car.
Yeah, that was such a ricer hunk of crap. Anyway, so one day I was sitting at my now wife's house and just looked online, and there happened to be a black '06 Redline at a dealership down the road. And I was bored, so I went and looked at it, and they're like, "Here, 24-hour test drive."
24 hours.
Yeah.
Dang.
Nice.
So I did, and I never took it back. I mean, I went back to sign papers.
And he's still running to this day.
Still running. No, financially it was a terrible move because I paid more. Nah, I paid a pretty appropriate price, but I lost a lot on the SC2
Oh, I bet.
because I went negative on that. and
Yeah,
had
those
it
cars
too
aren't
long.
known for holding their values.
No, it depreciated a lot from the time I bought it.
Yeah. Yeah, those cars are bad.
Yeah,
They're fun,
but
they're bad.
I can't say I regret it.
No.
It got me to where I'm at,
No, they're great cars. I loved the one I had.
and it kind of was that story steadily from that day till now. Like it was never a flip a switch, I'm building an Ion race car.
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
just a little more mod, a little more mod,
Extra
a little
step,
more mod.
extra step, extra step.
And
Yeah.
I was a lot of people probably don't even realize this, but I was full-blown hardcore team blower for life.
Yep.
When I first had my car.
Oof.
I set the horsepower record for the M62 that hadn't been beat in years, and held it until 3 years ago when Jason Whittleson finally broke it. So I held it for 6-7 years. And then kind of similar to how I bought the Ion, I was just bored looking on the internet, and I was on like the Evo forum or DSM forum, and there was just some vendor on there having a closeout on a bunch of entry-level precision turbos they had. And they had this 5531 up there for $400,
You're
brand
like,
new.
Turbo.
I was like, huh.
Yep.
Ooh, 1 second
What
here,
about
guys. Matt, welcome. We
Yeah,
do this
thanks for
every
coming.
Friday. Let's go around. We got Eric behind the camera. He runs this show, so
Howdy.
you'll hear him every once in a while, but never see him.
Yep. Tyler V at ZZP.
What do you drive? What do you do here?
Product development, photo, social media, coilovers.
What jobs here do you not do? That's a shorter list for most people.
Tuning.
I don't weld. I do some tuning.
Some driving.
You
some
don't
driving.
weld and you don't ship packages.
Yeah. I have kitted before, and I've shipped packages before.
Oh, yeah.
So
So
I
mostly
haven't
welding.
welded yet.
Have you
We'll get
scrub-
there.
Have you scrubbed the toilets?
No toilet scrubbing. Let's see. I drive 2017 Camaro, 4-cylinder, a 07 base model Cobalt, an 06 Cobalt SS, and that's it right now. Oh, I own a Sonic, and then my wife has an HHRSS, so I'm full blown
Just everything.
ZZP.
Yep.
I seen Erica in the HHR today. I was like, that's a clean HHR. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Is that a Tyler Vogt buff job?
I seen it
Oh,
from
yeah.
a block away.
Raleigh was he was my first customer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
3.5 hours.
Yeah, he came down and I tuned him and John Haddock at the same time.
Oh, yeah,
And John was a friend of mine from beforehand. I'm pretty sure that was the first day I met Raleigh. Like we had talked through text or messenger. And so I'm pretty sure he was like my first actual ARM Performance customer.
Free Chinese buffet whenever you got a tune, too. Dang.
That's a good deal.
I'm a big fan of Buffett's.
Buffett's can be a good time.
Anyways, I'm Trevor. Most of you know me. I drive the Saturn Sky for ZZP, the Orange Boy,
Orange boy.
and
Big
I have a
wang.
Cobalt and a handful of other random mod cars that are always broken.
And always changing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah, Saturn Sky, drift car.
What do you do here?
Oh, marketing, design. Those are the two overarching,
Yeah.
I'd say, and then
He's
Photo,
welded.
video. He
Yeah,
has.
I have
Heck,
welded.
you're a step ahead of me.
I'm not saying he's welded well,
But
but he's welded.
But he's done it.
I'm Bo, 3800 specialist. Drive a Buick Regal. That's about it. Got a Grand Prix GXP.
You do all the tuning for 3800s.
You
All
do.
the
You have the
3800 tuning.
cleanest GXP that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the plan with that is it's gonna be the real race car one day, because I really want
4080 swap.
I really want to build an LS one day, and
Yeah.
I really like W bodies. So as much as I do hate that car, it is perfect, and I'm just waiting. I only hate it because it's slow
Yeah.
and
is
heavy,
pretty slow.
but you know
the color makes that car.
I love
it
that
is
color.
pretty.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like it's not a color I'd pick for myself, but
Like-
that car
Like
looks
that
so good.
that dark blue one that was here didn't do
Yeah.
it for me.
Oh, or the
Yours?
silver one we used to have here.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, ours was black.
Didn't we have a
Yeah,
silver
no,
one?
we still have silver. That's a 3800. We had
That's
a
still
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
04 plus
Oh,
one.
I thought we sold that.
Yeah,
no,
no.
Joey broke it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Close.
I hope
She
you
broke.
listening. Joey broke it. That was my favorite cruiser to ever borrow here because it's like just riding on a lazy boy.
Yeah.
The last time we went to the half mile, you drove that car.
Yeah, I love highway cruising in that car. It is so comfortable.
That was like Erica's and my lacrosse. That thing could eat highway miles.
Yes.
It also
Just mow
burned a
them
lot of
down.
oil, but you know, it's all right.
Quick valve seal job, man.
Yeah, well, I was gonna do the fronts, and then I was like, the rear's like too hard. So
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have cut your oil consumption in half.
That's true. I could have.
The whole V thing is really scary to me. I don't know about that.
See, that's me when I had the Cobalt or the Ion. I was like 2 cams. Oh.
Uh oh. What do I do?
Pop the valve cover off and you're like, whoa, whoa help. What's going on?
Fastest Kappa we've built. not many people drag
No.
race those.
I don't think
Tim's
we've-
is very fast. Trevor's is very fast.
Yep.
I think we did a 257 build on an auto at one point, and it made like 300 because that auto's so trash.
Yeah, I don't
That
think we've
Ryan
had
drove?
any people go for a big power build.
No, we've had a
But
LS swapped 600 wheel one here.
when
we didn't
the
build
Honey
it, though.
Badger finally retired,
Yeah,
Yeah,
budget Supra.
Am I the highest horsepower Kappa here?
here, yes.
yeah,
possibly,
here.
yeah.
Well, we only have
Here
two, so-
since like
Yeah.
shop built cars?
They're really comfortable. Once you get into
For
them.
you,
Yeah, for me.
I was about to add once you get in there.
Yeah, once you get in there, it feels like a race car. Like
They do.
Yeah.
They do, which is cool.
that's why I
It's-
want a Solstice, because it's Wish.com Super Dash.
And I hate to say it, but Fieros feel like race cars too. They're fucking
Well,
sweet.
don't
I've
get me
never
You
started.
sit
wrong.
way down in there, and especially manual ones are like up
You know,
here.
Ryan just
yeah.
put
Oh,
his
yeah.
fist through his computer
I know he
screen.
did.
I've never sat in a Firo, and it's probably a good thing.
It's probably a
because
good thing 'cause
the
you'd have one.
day I do, it's
Any
done.
interest in building a drag week Kappa? Yeah.
Oh,
Do it.
Only if it's got a straight axle.
Bucket list.
Yeah, we're having some struggles with the rear diffs. but
Yeah.
we're
Bucket
working on
list
it.
is we do drag
Drag
week in
week.
the Sonic.
Yeah. Oh, with the
Yep.
little car trailer behind it,
It could do it.
it could do it.
Look at what we put that thing through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's
We'll
do
have
it.
to take 3 transmissions with us, but the engine will be fine.
We can do drag week. I'll take Zoom's car. You guys
Yep.
take the Sonic.
So we do a drag week?
When is
This-
it? Hopefully it's not this year.
No, it's past this year.
Yeah.
We would
Maybe
love
not.
to.
That'd be a good
Maybe
goal.
They do
next
a-
year.
They do a Midwest one every year.
Yeah, and it usually starts and ends at Martin. Oh wait, no.
That's
well,
Midwest drag week.
yeah.
It starts and ends at
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah, that one. I think that one's this month. Anyway, I don't know. We should do drag week.
We should-
Honestly,
I've always
we
wanted to.
have a hitch downstairs for a Sonic.
Upstairs. Here.
Oh, it's upstairs? It's
Oh.
up here?
Yep.
It's over there.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Sweet.
Like
I
20
got a
feet that
hitch
way.
on the Buick. I just need to. Or maybe I'll take the Buick. That'd be comfier than Zoomer's car. But I was just.
I'm
on the
not
topic
doing
of-
drag week in the Ion.
No.
Just,
Why not?
no. Not doing it.
Anyways,
I'm gonna
Al, you got to
co-pilot
introduce
Sonic.
yourself for Matt.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
I'm,
Matt.
I'm Al. Sorry that we forgot. What do I not do here? I don't do warehouse stuff. I don't ship things.
Yeah.
Yep. Self-proclaimed tuner
you-
for years, and
Yeah,
then came to
self-tuner guy.
ZZP
Self-tuner guy.
as
Yep.
a mechanic.
Yeah, because the easiest way to explain that is Zoom and several other people knew that they wanted me here, but they didn't know exactly how. They just knew I had to be here. So, like, that seemed like the easiest spot for me to figure things out.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out.
Nope.
And a lot of the lifers here, their first jobs don't work out. I don't think there's any long-term employee here that's still doing the job they started at.
I started as customer service.
Yeah. And admittedly, I was not a good mechanic. I can wrench fine, and I enjoy it, but I had never in my life wrenched on a clock.
Yeah.
So to make that shift, it's a whole different type of mechanic.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, I was not made for that spot. And luckily, with the culture that we have here, I was given enough room to figure it out and find my spot.
Yes.
now it's
Al
like all day
primarily
long.
picks things up and puts them back down.
That my number one job is answering people's questions. Like that
yeah.
is it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because when I took a day off a weekend, like 2 weeks ago, I came back that Friday and Eden was like, dude, you would not believe all day long there's people just, where's Al? Where's Al? I got a question. Where have you seen Al? Like, maybe you can answer my question. He's like, that's all I heard all day long.
Yeah.
And so that's most of my job. Like, I fit in the tuning and whatnot in between there. But I'm kind of one of the go-tos for random questions.
Questions, yeah.
Yeah. On that note, Jeff, we are always looking for talent. Check out on Indeed.
Absolutely.
We have specific jobs out there all the time, but
Nah, he's Canadian.
right people, right place.
Sorry.
You know.
Knees bend backwards. That's what I hear.
Yeah. And their whole mouth moves when they talk.
Yeah, their head goes like this.
Nah, if we ever hire a Canadian, it has to be Scott,
Scott,
first.
yeah.
So if we hire Scott, then you can be second on the Canadian hire list.
Yeah. Yeah, Scott McPhee's number one.
Yeah.
Sometimes
He's our
they
favorite
like
Canadian.
switch
He's
to
the-
that other
he's the-
language for fun.
Yeah, I don't get
what?
that.
He's the highest rated potential Canadian.
Bo, you would like Scott.
Yes, you would.
You'll like Scott.
Scott is delivered the honey badger.
Yep.
nice.
He's a good dude.
Yep.
Yes, we do measure in moose power now.
Yeah, moose power.
Meese power.
Some dude said he's got an Ion in Canada that has many meese power.
I believe you.
I liked it.
We still haven't quantified what a Meese power is, so it can have as many as you
Is
want.
it
Yeah.
the equivalent of the U.S. to Canadian dollar conversion rate?
Oh, that would suck.
That's a low blow.
Well,
That's-
I don't make the rules.
I'll
And it
just make
changes
it.
all the
I'll just
time.
make it
See?
really easy for
that's,
you.
That's the thing.
Do mooses smell like maple when you scratch them?
All I'm saying is
Their
if
money smell like maple leaves?
we toe strap a moose and a horse together, my money's on the moose.
Well,
My money is definitely
hold
on the moose.
Are we talking like quarter horse or Clydesdale here?
Clydesdale. The
biggest moose you can find
the
and
best
the biggest
moose
horse.
and the
Oh,
best
okay.
horse.
Moose power. Since I have the moose,
Yeah, he's got the galloping moose.
I have the
True.
moose. So one moose power is 315 wheel horsepower.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, he's not wrong.
He's not
there.
wrong. You know how much more power that would have made if you had an F40 behind the bitch?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Or a wastegate spring that wasn't 4 pounds.
I told you a way we could get more boost, and you didn't want to risk it.
Al, all those ways are scary.
It's not. It's only stupid if it doesn't work.
Then it's scary, but
Yeah.
you know. Oh.
Eric Lewis, how you doing? We haven't heard from you in a
Junk
little bit.
GTP / Carbon Works. I always say Junk GTP, but now you're Carbon Works here. You've changed.
Moving
Yeah.
up in the world.
We
Yeah.
all know you as Junk GTP.
That
We're
is
just-
quite
Alright.
the upgrade from Junk GTP to
It
Carbon
is.
Works.
Yeah.
I
Thanks.
have a bunch of your stickers on my fridge at home, Eric.
Yeah, thanks for the good video. Yeah, it was a good video, I thought.
That was a pretty good video. I like the music. I
Oh,
was
heck
vibing
and
to it.
heck, we got fully sidetracked from the point we were making anyway.
Anyways, yeah,
What
what do you
were
do
we back
here?
on?
That's what we were talking
So
about.
we were talking about why this half mile is important.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So
Like 20
circle
minutes
back.
ago.
I was going
Circle
to
back.
transition this with so everyone kind of got a brief backstory of you, what you did here, how you got into modding, tuning, racing. So what led into half miling, which is your main event
I
essentially
sucked
now.
at drag racing.
At least
That's
he's
what.
honest.
That's fair.
Until,
Yeah.
until
I-
last weekend. You sucked.
Until last week.
Al, your mom's here.
Oh, hi, Mom. Love you. Hopefully I see you this weekend. Because we're not going to be very close to where they live.
Wait, you
Oh.
have a full name, Alan? Your name's just
Alan.
not Al?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Um,
Hi, Alan.
But yeah, I half-miled because I tried to drag race a car and I broke lots of axles and 2 transmissions. One of them being one that I paid way more than I should have for. And I'm like, wow, this game blows. Don't want to play anymore.
It
And
sounds
then-
like the same game Tyler played last year.
Yeah, except
Yeah.
for he just kept trying and kept breaking it.
Also, every LSJ guy who drag races or really does anything will break transmissions and pay way too much for one.
Yeah, it's just
Yep.
how it goes.
That's how it goes. I paid way too much for an F35, and I got it home, and it was broken. So that was cool.
It was all
That's why
because
I
I
went
didn't want to pay
F23.
the money for slicks.
Yeah. Which
But-
The
you
slicks
should have
is-
bought the slick.
The
No
slicks is
kidding.
essential.
You put slicks on an LSJ or LNF, and all of a sudden, they actually
They're
launch pretty
fine.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge driveline shock absorber.
Same with the Sonic.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Huge gains.
Because we were using several-year-old slicks. you
Well,
know,
we were
doing that
using
thing-
drag radials, and
Oh,
we were,
yeah.
that's when we broke the most stuff.
Yeah.
And then we went to the old slicks, and it was better, but still not great. And then we went to the new slicks, and it was like, oh.
Like, holy crap.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Uh,
half mile.
So honestly, that was it. I sucked at quarter mile, and I didn't want to try to get better. I just wanted to go fast.
Is
so-
half mile a little intimidating signing up for the first time?
Yeah, because they're a lot more expensive than quarter mile.
They're pricey.
because they have to basically shut down an airstrip.
Yeah.
So
So they
that
got to find
costs
a
lot
day
of money.
or a
Unless
weekend.
you're Tyler and you just kind of show up with your random car.
Well,
Yeah.
so that was the Michigan or
Yeah, Battle Creek.
Battle Creek
That was
one.
the first one that I did. Was 2 years before that.
yeah. So that was 2018, and that was July 4th weekend or
Mhm.
week. That's when they always held it, and I had been here for a month and a half. And they're like, we bought an extra ticket for the half mile. Anyone want to do it? And I was like,
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, let's do that.
Did you take the Saturn?
I took the old crappy Saturn.
The-
Was this before or after you took it on road course with the fuel freaking flying out of it and it
was
rusted in
after.
half?
No, that was when I burned the hole through the gas tank. Uh,
Oh man, who is this
So you
man?
realized this car isn't safe to go anywhere. And
so let me send it down a half
So
mile.
let me do a top speed run.
Many top speed runs. And also, I just had this epiphany the other day because now I've like come to realize and kind of be an LSJ guy and know all the ins and outs after learning from Al. I don't think I ever checked the intercooler pump. I don't know if it ever worked.
Probably didn't.
Probably didn't. I owned it for 3 years. I installed a stage 3 and like did all this shit, and I never checked it.
Never.
And it went 121
Oh.
in the half.
Oh. That's not.
That's what the Sonic does in a quarter.
For comparison, if at normal half mile traps about 20 miles per hour more than a quarter,
Yeah.
that'd be like taking the GXP,
Yeah.
and it's a lot lighter.
I would hope it'd go faster than 120 and a half, but
I don't know.
maybe
You'd be
the
surprised.
The
You'd be
math don't
surprised.
lie.
You're covering ground at such a high rate by the time you get to the quarter mark that you don't gain a lot of mile an hour in the second half of it.
Still, I'm sure you had the biggest
Well-
smile going down that stretch.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, because you get to just peg it and not worry about cops or deer or
Yeah.
maces or anything running out in front of you.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it is. They are fun events.
But yeah, once I did one, it just got addicting. Like it's
Yep.
a lot of it is because it simulates doing like Mexico runs, but it's fully legal and it's safe.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you're racing against other people that are there just to have fun.
It's
Yeah.
a very builder's competition.
Yes.
Yes.
And now that I have found a love of quarter mile racing, I'd still love both of them, but for different reasons. And that was one of the things I mentioned to you I wanted to talk about on the podcast, is that you obviously have to build a decent car for quarter mile, but a large chunk of it is on how well you drive it.
Yeah.
So we can just call basically quarter mile as a driver's competition.
Yep.
Whereas half mile is more favored towards a builder's competition. Your launch and your shift times yes, everything adds up, but it's like,
I
needle
mean,
in a haystack.
Most guys roll into it in the half mile. Like, you don't
Yeah.
really see people launching
Well,
from the
The
there's
whole.
only
no-
people that launch in the half mile are the people that are tenths away from a record.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
there's-
at that point, it does make a difference.
Yeah.
Really no benefit.
But why hurt your car for 100th of a second or
Right.
whatever? Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Lambo dudes. Oh.
Mhm.
Watching those guys.
Yeah, they launch.
Yeah, it's very
The GTR
Pushing-
bros too. They love to
pushing-
launch.
Uh-huh.
the car to its mechanical limits and
Right.
And
yeah,
the aero
everything
limits.
upon everything and
Aero limits too. That's one of the things I love the most about the half mile is because it's a constant physics game. You have to have traction. You have to have power. You want to have the car reasonably light, but it's not as much of a factor as quarter mile. You're playing a game of power versus drag, whereas quarter mile you're playing power versus weight. So there are a lot of half mile cars, like Aaron's, for example, that has a steel splitter intentionally because it puts more weight on the front tires and gives them more traction, and it's less of a penalty in half mile than it would be in quarter mile racing.
And you know how much traction matters, especially at the top of fourth.
Yeah,
When
because
you're chirping 'em.
Yeah, my current record 3 years ago was 167, chirping fourth gear, all the way through the traps. And not because it was insane power, is because the aerodynamics were so terrible. Like that car was
Front end
lifting
goes like that.
in the front at the top end. It was steering all over the place.
Yeah.
And-
And then the
so-
whole brake incident.
And that leads into and the brake incident blew a freaking axle boot and greased the rotor. You don't know about that until you hit the brakes, and it goes. Luckily, I was able to burn through the grease and still stop in time.
Yep.
Al, what do you think you'll trap in the half mile? Your last record was around 160, right?
So yeah, my last record is 167 with no aero to speak of.
None.
So if I make the same power, having the aero that I do now, it should easily do mid 170s
70s, yeah.
on the same power.
I would for sure.
My goal going into this event was to hit a 180.
yeah.
Ooh.
Incredible.
It's attainable.
Yeah,
But
I'd say
we're
so.
going to start out soft, make sure the car feels safe, make sure the parachute pulls straight, make sure the brakes work
Oh
well.
yeah, we got a parachute, boys.
Yeah, we need to. Well, the Indiana half-mile event doesn't have a really big shutdown.
No.
So it's roughly a mile run. So you have to be able to stop as good as you can go.
Yeah.
Eesh.
Yeah. There's some half-mile events that have less shutdown than they do half of the run.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
No thanks.
there's one that Aaron runs that's a 5,000-foot total course.
Which to a lot of you guys in the chats
Yeah.
here doesn't seem like a big deal, but when you have drag slicks and 15-inch wheels or 14s or whatever they are,
And the
and
rear end's
little
usually
baby
light.
brakes and
Yeah, I got good pads, but they're stock-size brakes.
yeah.
So we're gonna be. That chute has to work. If the chute doesn't feel safe, then we are not gonna go for 180.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not putting my life at risk for something like that.
Yeah. Those dudes that run that on like sport bikes and stuff. Huh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't
I don't get it
understand
at
them at the
all.
quarter mile, at the half mile. It's like,
Yeah.
but then you see these videos of dudes running around on sport bikes like
But see,
200.
sport bikes pick up even less from quarter to half than cars do. Because
Really?
their power versus drag is even worse.
Oh, yep.
They don't make a lot of power. They're fast because they're light.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they are actually not all that aerodynamic for the amount of power they have.
Because they don't have any form, and the wheels are just spinning stuff
And
everywhere.
most of your drag is the sides of the bike and the shape of the rider.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you look at easy way to make this make sense is a lot of Salt Flats cars still look like cars. Salt Flats motorcycles do not look like motorcycles
No.
anymore.
Nope.
They're rockets with wheels.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of an easy way.
And that's why the
The
slingshot
honey-
does so poorly. Sorry,
The
didn't mean
honey
to cut you off.
badger on the salt flats.
No, I never will run
Have
anything on
you-
the salt.
Have you like read stories of people driving on the salt flats? They say it's the sketchiest thing you've ever done.
Absolutely.
Because it's just like a really thin layer over dirt, basically. And they say it's like you
Like
just
driving on
wiggle.
marbles.
Yeah, you just are wiggling the whole time, and people go like 300 miles per hour. And like, what are you doing?
They just had trials last week, I think, and I saw Shane Tecklenburg posted that they had a car 433, I think,
Oh my.
What?
in the
No.
Streamliner class. Yeah, I think they're.
400?
in a class?
I'd have to pull up the post, but
Like not unlimited?
no, and then record runs you have to go down and,
And back, yeah,
and then your
for
average.
the win.
And I think it was on their down run they had a top speed of 460 something,
Goodness.
and then that qualified them for trying to break the 433 record. I think is what the post said.
Where do you
but if
know
you-
to
if
let
you-
off in that? Is there like
I
markers
don't know.
there?
Yeah, there's like
They time 5 miles,
Okay.
and I think mile 4 is your.
you're fast.
so you have
the-
like
yeah.
a stopwatch that's like, pump the brakes now.
There is no pump the brakes. It's parachute
Yeah.
and give it a little bit of brake.
Because if you pump the brakes, you go.
done.
Yeah, you're going.
Man, you put wings on that thing and it just go. whew.
Yeah.
If you're going 400 miles an hour, you can take off.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. I'm no physicist.
Airplanes
but
take off at a lot less than that.
Yeah, they take off at like mid 100s, I think, is when they start to lift. Well, like jetliners.
It seems like it's less than that when you ride on a plane.
it kind
When
of
you
does.
ride in, it seems like less, but I bet it's up there a little
Yeah.
bit.
Really?
Your cruising speed is usually about 500 something in a big jetliner, and
that's
these
what
people
these
are doing
cars are doing on
100
salt.
less on like no thanks.
In like a 1960s vintage motorcycle with some kydex
but yeah,
wrapped
the-
around the
Yeah.
front. Like,
The sketchiness and the safety aspect of it is why the Honey Badger has been a 3-year build.
Yeah.
Because after I ran the 167 pass, it went straight to the trailer.
Yep.
Because I was
Yeah.
chirping tire, taking up 3 lanes. It was not going to go any faster. It did not feel safe,
And he had to change his underwear.
and
So.
I had to change my underwear.
yeah. You can bring a Saturn Ion to GTR Power relatively easy, but
Yeah.
it doesn't make up for a lot of the other parts and bits.
No, but the thrill is still there. Like Taylor Lear had told me this multiple times because he works for, I think it's Cicero.
Yep. What used to be top speed.
Yeah, and he has said that his 600 horse Ion is more fun to go to Mexico in than a 1200 horse GTR.
I
bet,
fully
yeah.
believe it. Who was I talking to? Maybe it was around here. Maybe it was somebody else. But like, things sometimes aren't fun if there's not a level of, oh, I might die if I do this.
Yeah, it's a,
I think
it's a really
that was
warped way of thinking about
Yeah.
it, but it's true.
Like,
There's better wording for that.
Yeah.
But you're right.
there's a little bit of danger, and
Yeah.
you're like, all right, this is fun. If there's a lot of danger, but you don't, it's kind of a bell curve.
Yes, another bell curve.
Because you get to the top and you're like, this is the greatest thing I've ever done. But then when there's too much danger, you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, Boeing 737 takes off at 150. Thanks, Jeff.
747 at 180. All right.
So Al, you're
Yeah.
like
Yep.
Almost
there.
takeoff speed. So yeah, I had one thing I did want to clarify too is I've mentioned several times in the post about my car and where it's at now that it's been a 3-year project. I need to clarify that that's not 3 years of constant wrenching.
No, it's about.
I say
a
that
year.
because 3 years was the last time that it raced.
Yep.
It sat pretty much for
2.
a year and a half
Yeah.
before the new shell showed up, and then
Yeah, it
dinked
was.
with some things.
It
here
was
and there
right after like the lockdown craziness of COVID.
when I actually started
Right,
working.
You started
on it.
working on it, and it smelled so bad.
Yeah.
Hey, cheers for making your goals, meeting your goals.
Heck yeah.
Heck
Put
yeah,
that thing to
brothers.
work. Because it's good to nothing like setting a goal and meeting it.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
Michael, hey Al, what aero mods have you done to the car to make it more stable? And not even aero mods, you've done some suspension mods.
stuff.
Yes.
yeah.
I was on like civilian KW V1 coilovers at the
Oh.
last event.
Civilians.
Which were not stiff enough to be stable at those speeds. So now, and yeah, I get it. The car's on a standalone and custom wiring harness, but
Yeah.
we added it up. There's actually not that much money in the car.
There's not.
Go
Like
fast, not
this
broke.
is attainable for most average customers.
It's just a lot of time.
Yes,
which
a
a lot
of time.
lot of
but
people
that's
don't.
why I built a car. I like doing this. I
Yeah.
want to spend the time on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, it's really cool to me from just watching and not knowing nearly as much, but learning along the way as you explain it. Like, I know you've built thousands of power cars. Like, you can take an engine, whatever you want it to do. But, like, the aero, the suspension, like,
And making it all work together.
this is all, like, kind of new territory
Yeah.
for you to, like, hands-on
So
do.
the suspension currently is a hodgepodge of used parts because go fast not broke
Yep.
and function over form. It is my KWV1 struts with Swift springs off the rear of an ATS BC coilover kit,
Yep.
and then Tyler's used BC Cobalt rears.
With ZZP,
With ZZP.
rear struts
Yes.
from the coilover kits.
Yeah.
Perks of
Which
working
I
at a
think-
mod shop, guys.
Yeah.
Just
So
find
I think the
parts.
front spring rates are 12,
14.
14. 14 in the front, and then 6 in the rear.
6 in the rear.
Um,
And I honestly could go a little stiffer in the front yet.
yeah.
That is wild. Why do you say that? What do you have
The
you felt?
stability.
Stability and aero.
Yeah.
Because you're putting so much extra downforce
That's
at
the
that
thing.
speed.
I have the splitter may be too much. So
Hmm.
we have a Sawzall packed.
I got my 3-inch cutoff
Oh.
wheel too.
Yeah. Well, because
Okay.
like Aaron
Take a little
Civic,
bit above
remember
his
we
lip
talked
off.
about how many baby elephants are standing on the front of his car?
Mm-hmm.
I can't have so many baby elephants that it like bottoms the springs out or rips the splitter off the car.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'll try to have one of you towards the end of the track on one of my shakedown runs
To see
get
where it's at.
Some videos
Yeah.
and pictures of how the nose of the car is sitting.
Yeah, we can't shove a football in the front springs.
No.
Nah.
No, we can't do that.
But the splitter and bumper, if you look at the recent ZZP post, there was pictures and video of the car. I ran the first shakedown runs down at Martin when it ran like a 12.9 at 125
With no bumper.
with no bumper. So that was on drag radials, the tires that I'm going to be running at the half mile. And the whole reason I took the car there was I needed to see how the car fell on those tires, on that suspension at high speed. So that's why it had like a 5-second 60 foot, and I didn't even get into it in first. But it was terrible. It was wandered all over the place, torque steered like crazy.
Yep.
So then I got to finishing up. The splitter is a 3/8 Kydex that kind of mirrors the bumper profile and sticks about 4 to 5 inches out. It extends all the way past the axle center line, almost to the back of the tires.
Yeah.
And then that, because I did, with the size of tires I run, I could not lower the car anymore, so I had to make the splitter low and then build it up to the car. So that's why we have the full Kydex closed front with aluminum channel reinforcement. Once again, function over form.
Yep.
It ended up looking okay,
Yeah.
It looks
but
freaking sweet.
depending who you ask, I love the way it looks.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna go fast.
Kind of looks
I-
like
I
Hannibal
hope it
Lecter
does.
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a what?
When the,
Hannibal
you gotta
Lecter,
imagine
you know,
the
with
side
the-
skirts there.
But
Yeah.
with that closed front and the splitter on it, and then we go to Stanton when I ran the 10.9, absolutely felt like a completely different car.
Absurdly stable.
Absurdly stable.
Yep.
Like when I went out on the first pass on gate pressure and ran a 12.3, it was boring. Like the car just went dead straight. No issues whatsoever. So I am very, very excited to see how it does at the half mile, because running with no bumper was almost identical to my 167
Yeah,
pass.
yeah.
Like just
You're going to
all
come back and you're
over
going to
the
be all
place.
smiles and you'll be like, let's turn it
Turn
up!
it up!
Yep.
Yeah, we may or may not have put a bigger turbo on last night that
Yep.
we haven't tuned yet.
Well,
We
figure
got
it
10
out.
minutes left, guys.
just
Less
oh,
than
yeah.
10 minutes. Get in any last questions? Speaking of
Uh,
Al, the Honey Badger events.
we also
or anything.
did a
Yes,
drag wing.
Kydex is like Kleenex,
Drag wing on the rear.
which
Yep.
we still got to finish.
Yep, but that's all right. And the caster mod, which is big too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's-
yeah.
That was the one I was thinking
Yeah.
of. Yep. More caster is better.
More
Mhm.
caster.
For
Al,
the stuff
overrated,
steer.
underrated Phase 5 Cobalts.
Current day and age, severely overrated,
Yep.
but
Cool.
they
Still
were
cool.
way underrated when they were released.
Yeah, do you have underrated, overrated, Al, or do we just let
I
the
didn't
community?
because we were going to be so short
Yeah.
on time. So you guys got 8 minutes.
Yeah,
if you
8
can think
minutes.
of more.
Underrated, underrated.
What do I think of
Well,
hybrid
I'll,
M90, M112 LSJ? Nah. You need more displacement before you put a bigger blower on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just look at G5 Mike and the power he makes on a TVS versus the 2-liter record.
Yep.
0.2 more liters made 30 more horse
That's a lot.
at less boost.
That's a lot.
2.4 supercharged, underrated.
Yeah, except you can't
If
spin them.
the crank would hold together.
Yeah.
If we ever get a billet crank made, then sure. Yeah, I'd love to have more displacement and spin higher.
Yep. Let's see. How do you mount aero to withstand 200 miles per hour? You got to connect it to the frame.
Yeah.
Or your crash support,
I have
crash bar.
steel fabricated by me brackets that bolt directly to the frame and to the factory crash bar.
Never mount it on your bumper. Your
No.
plastic
Well-
bumper does not work.
ZZP ever offer aero parts on the site? In the works.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're working on
actually.
some stuff.
Michigan Sound Wizard HV4 inserts are my #1 project.
Yeah,
next
better
week.
hope so that your car makes better power once we get them in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Oh, you don't even have an
No.
HP3 in that thing?
No.
He's got the regular intake.
Boy!
I know. He's just wasting power.
It just goes to show that even
Like he
I
doesn't
don't
even
get-
want to go fast.
Yeah, even Bo doesn't get the special treatment.
Yeah, like I'm missing out on them just as much as you.
Yeah,
guys.
no, HP3s have been gone for a while, so we're...
Holy crap, Shrugus is on there. Shrugus was like my Redline OG brother.
All right.
There you go.
Good to see you, man. We need to meet up.
182 is Jason Whittleson's guess. I like it.
It's attainable.
Yeah.
It really is.
Over under KO4. I want to say context.
No, you got to answer.
God,
Tyler, you go
dang it.
first.
Yeah, there is no fence riding.
Over.
I agree.
What?
Yep.
Overrated.
Underrated.
Overrated.
Nah, overrated.
Overrated. They.
Have you
fall
guys
off, too.
driven Tim Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Imagine if he had a Z something on.
I've
Alright.
told Ryan, and I'll say it all day long. Driving around town, a well-built blower LSJ is
Yep.
more fun than a KO4.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
yep.
And I would rather go to a Z54 for a go-fast car.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, the only context in which a KO4 could potentially be underrated is if we compound something on top of it.
I'll take that. Overrated, underrated. Richly jetted 35 shot.
They're severely underrated, actually, because most people don't understand
Yeah.
what physics is and can't comprehend that the cooling effect when you're running 20-plus pounds through a Roots heat pump
Yep.
gains you a ton
Way more.
of power.
Than a 35
Yep.
shot.
Michael,
Yeah.
again, LSD front-wheel drive trans on the street, extremely.
Yeah, night or day.
Yeah.
extremely underrated on the street. Man. Yeah.
Yeah, no. LSD is great. Road course, underrated. Drag strip, you could go overrated.
Yeah.
You could, yeah.
But it'd be
But
better
you,
not.
You have
it'd
to
be-
have the car set up perfectly.
Yeah.
But if you do, then
Bill,
you don't
I
need the
cannot
LSD.
remember my 8th mile.
Slower than mine.
Yeah. Yeah, slower than else.
A good. That just reminded me, though. I was gonna say earlier. When you're comparing quarter mile to half mile speeds, you can also just look at my recent pass in the 8th mile to quarter.
Mm-hmm.
101 in the 8th, 125 in the quarter,
So
and then your gain is going to be even less.
yeah,
Now
there's a drag.
that kind of sounds when you look at my speed, but like there's the advantage that I have is I have a lot more power to put down.
Yep.
8th mile was a 7.9
Andrew.
at 88.
Come on. M90 hybrid,
No,
112 on a
Andrew, stop it!
it's going to make less power than a TVS would.
Yeah.
Overrated.
It's barely going to make more than an M62.
Yeah.
How do I know that? Because ZZP put an M90 on
an
an
LSJ.
LSJ,
That,
and it made 300 horse.
yeah, when they came up with that, they were like, this is going to be the greatest ever.
Nah,
No.
you have it puts them in such a terrible spot on the efficiency
Yeah.
map that they end up
They're too
sucking
big.
more power.
General Motors had it figured out. They didn't, I mean, besides the
Like,
massive
go
heat,
figure. The company that spent tens of thousands of dollars paying people to pick a properly sized blower
Yeah.
actually were pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Over under. Tyler V Detailing Emporium.
Ooh. I'll let someone else.
I'm going to say underrated.
I'd say underrated.
Underrated.
Yes.
Tyler does a good job.
He does
I
pretty
am,
good work.
I am a detailer myself, and I'm about to hit up Tyler.
He made the Honey Badger look like a real car.
I washed the
I
Honey
was-
Badger for the first time
in
ever,
his life, other than
and it's rough, but it looks better.
it
and-
looks way better.
I walked
we got
into
some
work
sweet
today and I was
stickers on
like,
It looks good from 25 feet away
Yeah.
now.
I literally pulled into work and Tyler was out there and I was like, I didn't know this had paint on it.
I thought it was just all rubber.
Yeah, rubber and dust and mouse shit.
Is that it, guys? Is that all you got? We got like 2 minutes, so.
do.
And then I gotta finish packing the last few things, and we hit the road.
Yep.
Yeah, super excited for you guys this weekend. Oh, good
I'm
luck.
really excited.
Good luck.
I
out.
was I was talking to some of my friends, and I think to Tyler earlier that the past month I have been dealing with anxiety that I've never dealt with in my life before, and then all of a sudden last night, it's gone.
Yeah.
I am so excited. Like, I'm so happy that I've made so much progress on the car in such a short time. Because it was like you had mentioned, a 3-year project, but the 90% of the work was done in the last 3 months.
Yeah. Lots of late
We
nights.
got a bunch rolling in here. Over, under. Backwards ball caps.
Overrated.
Overrated.
Underrated.
They got to go forwards.
Because you can put your Cave Explorer light on the back, and then you're just ready to go. Just boom.
That's true. I don't wear hats
Yep.
though. I don't think I won't be going to CED. Unfortunately, I have a wedding that weekend. But
I have a 5K that morning,
yeah,
so if I'm not dead, I may hop straight in the car and head out there.
What's
That's a-
CED?
Crate Engine Depot.
that's a heck of a
Oh
drive.
yeah, you're young. I forgot.
Yeah. Used to be a baller Ecotec meet, and then it kind of died off, and hopefully it's coming back.
I think it's on the track to coming back.
I think so too.
Over, under. Correcting someone when they say rims instead of wheels.
Overrated.
Also, if they are above
22.
22 inches, they are
They're rims.
22.
rims or dem tangs.
Above 20 for me.
Two
That's rims.
Footers.
No,
Yeah.
because 20s come stock on shit now. 21s come stock on.
22s are
Yeah.
stock on the Escalade.
Yeah, so
Yep.
those aren't rims. Those are just wheels.
Did
They're
we ever
Ferris wheels.
tell everybody all the cars that were rolling this weekend?
One.
Yeah, it's
Al
just
Zion.
Is
me.
it just you?
Just Al.
Just
Oh,
me.
I thought we
Yeah.
had more.
This
Never
is
mind.
the Al show.
Fair enough.
All right, guys. Bo and Eric, what are you doing this weekend? Everyone knows what we're doing, so.
I am laying low, gonna work on the old Ford. This is probably my last weekend that I don't have a million things booked until Halloween.
Yep.
Like, I am
Oh,
stacked up.
Halloween, Lapeer has Power Wheels drag racing.
What?
And I
And
feel like
trunk
we
or
need.
treat.
I think we need to go.
Yeah,
Can we get a Tesla Power Wheels?
maybe. Lux has one.
We should do this.
Yeah.
We should.
I've ridden in it.
This is a
Yeah.
great idea.
It's
that's
not very
right.
fast.
I don't know if there's age limits.
Jeff, the Sonic is not set up for the half mile.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Would be fun, though.
It would be fun. I would love to, but
Yeah, the first quarter.
There would be a
I'd be
six-
grabbing sixth.
No kidding. Yeah, that thing almost is at the top of fourth in the quarter.
Yeah. It's not geared for that. Can you put an LSD into a non-LSD F-35? I assume you're talking about. It's possible. Really, only one person does it. Jason at B3 Designs.
Yeah.
So contact him.
There
If
you
you
go.
want to do it, contact him.
Eric, what are you doing this weekend?
Oh, well, another weekend, another drive up to the cabin.
That's a hike.
It's just on repeat this summer, so not
Thanks,
to say
Raleigh.
I'm complaining, it'll be
Raleigh, if you're ever, whenever we go to Lapeer next, we'll holler at you because I know you're on the Flint area. That's where my
Yeah,
parents
we're
are
definitely
too.
going to make some more trips to Lapeer this year because they run a lot later in the season than some of the other
Like
tracks.
Yeah, I've never
September,
been either,
October,
so
November.
I want
Lapeer is a sweet
I
track.
wanna
Lapeer
experience
is a drive, but it's
Experience
probably
it.
the most fun.
I love that track.
Yep.
And it's great now.
It is. Dude, Lapeer on a grudge night is like straight out of some car movie.
It is. It is.
Holy cow.
I haven't been there for one yet, but I really want
Oh,
to.
it's so much fun.
It's crazy.
Yep.
You don't even have to race.
Just go
to
and
Lapeer on a
spectate.
grudge
Yeah.
night. It's everything you want it to be.
All right, guys. You all have a good weekend.
Yep.
If for whatever reason you're in
We
Indiana,
went 1 minute over.
Heck.
come say hi.
Heck.
We'd love to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Marion Municipal Airport, Marion, Indiana.
Shift sector.
It's actually a pretty
half
cheap
mile.
event to go spectate. Isn't it like 20 bucks?
20
Yeah,
bucks a
20
day.
something.
Yeah.
Or 30 for the whole weekend.
$10 for
I know
kids.
there's a couple ATSV guys that'll be there. We'll say hi to them.
Oh, cool.
There we go.
So,
I'll give them the gaps.
yep.
just like you do
All
around
right.
here.
If not, we'll see you next week. Have a
Everybody.
good weekend, you guys.
Peace.
Deuces.